Greetings adventurers, my name is Kramer, and today I'm going to show you how with just a little bit of creativity and a couple different pieces of clothing, you can put together at least five, very distinct looking sets of costumes on a fairly tight budget. Now the first thing I'd like to say is that if you are new to the channel, welcome. And here, where we're talking about fantasy reenactment or historical reenactment or LARPing, we generally refer to costumes as garb, the distinction being that garb is going to be actual clothing. It is functional, it is not a costume weight fabric. This is supposed to be functional. What I'm wearing is supposed to be functional. It is not simply meant to look a certain way. That being said, this isn't specifically a Halloween video, but I can't deny that Halloween is here at the time of posting this video, and there may be some people that are looking to create a costume. That means that if you are at this video specifically for like full historical accuracy and you want everything to be absolutely correct, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that is not this video. This video is very much for people that are either on a shoestring budget or just starting to get into it or just want a quick costume that they can put together with some things that they may already have. Now, if you would like full-on costume breakdowns of any one of these costumes where I go all out and be as accurate as I possibly can, let me know in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get into the actual video. So all of these sets of garb really revolve around having a good outer coat, which I may say jacket at certain points. I mean those interchangeably. If possible, it should have cloth buttons. You want the buttons to be as unobtrusive as possible. No big collar, no lapels, and no cuffs. And you should be good to go. Go for sort of a neutral color like brown or like black or like gray or like green. And stay tuned to the end of the video if you'd like a little tip on how to sort of fake a jacket. So to start off, this is the Ranger garb. This is the Ranger kit. It is loosely based off of Aragorn's kit from The Lord of the Rings, directed by Peter Jackson. There are some slight differences here and there. So to start off, we are wearing a pair of dark brown pants. If you don't have a pair of dark brown pants, black will work, dark gray will work, dark green will work. Just so long as it isn't a out of place color like blue or like yellow, you're gonna be fine. Stay away from jeans, even if they're black. If you don't have anything at all, just go for joggers or something like that. But pants are not a super hard thing to come by. For the boots, we definitely want to be using something tall, something close fitting to the leg. That is how Aragorn's boots are described in the books. Today, I am wearing a pair of moccasins that I made myself. I have a video on that. The shirt I'm gonna be wearing with this particular set is a green linen shirt. Don't have to worry about having this laced up neck front. That is just something that my shirt has. If it's got buttons in the front, fine. These I would define as some sort of linen Henley shirt. If you don't know what a Henley is, look it up on the internet. They're right there, they're very common shirts. Just stay away from t-shirt cotton and stay away from anything that is too tight fitting. Linen is great. 100% cotton is fine, something like that is gonna work great. After that, we have the most unique piece in this entire ensemble, which is the jerkin. This is sort of a longer style vest. It looks a little bit like a tunic, but it's cut down the front. I'm calling it a jerkin. That's what it looks like to me. It can lace up in the front, it can button up in the front, mine laces up in the front, and it can be anywhere from mid-thigh length to about knee length. Over the jerkin is going to go your belt. I have two belts, one belt for my pouch and my knife or whatever it is that I happen to be carrying, and one specifically for my sword. Adventurers should always have two belts. That way you can take one belt off and still have a belt on, so you're not just walking around beltless. Nobody likes to be beltless. Aragorn in the movies also has a leather glove, so we're adding that. This one I made. You can just get a leather glove from the hardware store, so long as it's not a obnoxious color like yellow, cut the fingers off, that's gonna work just fine. He only wears one. If you'd like to wear more than one, you can. It's just make sure it's a conscious choice for you. You have to know why you're wearing both. So after that goes the jacket, which really is the centerpiece for all of these costumes. The main carryover, every single one of the costumes uses a jacket. Finally, we're gonna go ahead and add a cloak. For Aragorn's look specifically, we are going to be using a regular mantle cloak, not a Rwana cloak, but if you're interested in different types of cloaks, I do have a video on that. And the last thing is, of course, the bow, which I also have a video on. Check the description, there's lots of videos. So moving on to the Highlander look, we are changing a couple things, keeping some things. The shirt is staying the same. The pants, the shoes are staying the same. This is because when I did some research on what kind of shoes people might have been wearing out in the Highlands in the 1740s, something like that, they were wearing something fairly close to moccasins, so I'm just giving it a pass on this one. The next layer we're going to add is obviously the kilt, and you could go and spend money on a very large actual great kilt, or you could go to your local fabric store and grab 4 yards of fabric and hope that that works out for you. This video is not going to explain how to wear a kilt or what the proper dimensions are supposed to be. If you'd like to learn more about kilts, then please go ahead and check out Fan Dabby Dozy. He has an excellent channel, which will be down in the description and up here in the card. After that, we are introducing a different garment than the Ranger's jerkin. We are going to be using a vest. Now, this is a tweed vest. I chose tweed because I like the fabric style. It's wool. It's very, very durable. It seems like a good adventuring fabric to me. I really enjoy it, and it's going to be the vest that is used for every other costume going through this video. So go ahead and grab yourself a good vest. My best piece of advice for the vest is well, make sure it's actually wool or as close to 100% wool as you can get. And the second one is, if you can, while you're looking for a vest, try to find one where the whole vest is made out of the tweed and not just the front. A lot of modern vests, the back panels are actually made out of the lining material. That's in order to cut down on cost and production, essentially. I would say that probably having a full tweed vest is better than having one of the modern ones with some sort of plastic, shiny lining on the back instead. Over the vest goes our belt. I've seen some people wear the belt underneath and then the vest is over, but in my case, I just like to wear the belt on top. Same belt as the Ranger belt. We are, of course, adding a bollock dagger because this is the closest thing that I could find to a LARP dirk, which I haven't seen anything that looks quite as good as this does. I think this is fake steel or something like that. Over that goes the jacket, and then over the jacket goes the bandolier with the broadsword. If you're interested in this broadsword, I have a video review of it. I really like this sword a lot. Bandolier, very, very important because different than the Ranger where you have a sword belt, the bandolier definitely says something different about the character. Something about a diagonal line just says something a bit more swashbuckly. And of course, it is accurate. It is accurate to the time period too, which is important. But when we're talking about telling the story of a character, bandolier, swashbuckly, means business. Belt across the waist is a little bit more sort of refined, gentlemanly, in my opinion. Finally, we're going to add our hat or bonnet or bonnage. Again, if you'd like to learn all about Highlander clothing, I'm not necessarily the guy to do that. Check out Fan Dabby Dozy. But the bonnage, made out of wool, of course, the bonnet. Very comfortable hat. I wear this when I'm outside. It keeps the sun off my face. Very convenient. You can actually switch sides or cover the front if you want to keep the sun off of a certain side of your face, depending upon the way that you're facing. So I like that a lot. And then that's it. You're done. There's the Highlander look. Completed. It really is kind of amazing how I'm wearing pretty much the same thing and I look completely different. Just goes to show you, when you're making garb sets for a character, when you're getting your kit, the most expensive thing can be the clothes. It absolutely can be the clothes, but it doesn't have to be. It's really all the gear too. Now, coming off of the Highlander kit into the Hobbit costume, we are changing a couple things. The shirt has obviously changed color. We're going with a natural colored or white linen shirt. We are still keeping no collar, either zero collar at all or an Asian style standing collar or something like that. It's gonna work just fine. We are keeping the vest, tweed again, but we are also changing the pants, obviously. So we are going for this pair of joggers. Any color really is going to work. I'm just using these ones because I think it sort of matches the color of the shirt and it gels together nicely. But the very important thing about the pants is getting the proper length. Now, the pants I'm wearing for the Hobbit look are probably even a little too slim fitting, maybe something a little baggier. But I'm recommending joggers for a very specific reason, and that is because it is going to help get the proper length of the pants and have it stay there without you actually having to alter or cut a garment. Now, if you had a pair of pants that you didn't mind cutting into and you just wanted to cut them to the correct length and do a hem so that it's not all rough around the edges there, that is gonna work great. Put on the jacket, you're good to go. But if you don't want to actually ruin a pair of pants and cut them super short, then this is what I'm going to say. You're gonna be tempted potentially to roll up the pants. And when I say joggers, they have that sort of elastic band at the bottom or maybe a tie at the ankle. You're gonna be tempted to just pull those up and have the elastic or the tie hold them in place. Don't do that either. What you're gonna wanna do is pull up that pant leg to about your mid-calf, not right up to the knee because that's gonna end up being too short. Mid-calf is fine. And then you're gonna pull that excess material down and fold it over the actual end of the pants where that cuff is. So that way it looks flat. It's gonna be the same width as the rest of the pant leg, and it's never ever going to move. The elastic is gonna keep it around your leg, and it's going to make sure that the folded part stays at the correct length. When we're talking about a Hobbit costume, the length of the pants really is the thing that makes it, because ultimately, I'm kind of just wearing a vest and a shirt, a jacket, and pants. But the beauty of the Hobbit's costume design is that that shorter pant leg with a longer jacket makes you instantly look shorter. And finally, for the Hobbit costume, you can add a cloak at the end if you would like to. The same cloak we were using for the Ranger costume. It's gonna work great. It's gonna look fine. Now, the Hamilton look is probably the least applicable to anyone here on the channel, but I'm including it because, one, I can, two, someone might find it helpful or interesting, and three, playing Hamilton on Broadway would be pretty sweet. To be completely serious, coming off of the Hobbit costume, very little about this is actually changing. The shirt is staying the same, the vest is staying the same. We are keeping the pants the same. The only thing we're adding is some sort of cravat or neck ruffle. This can pretty much be anything. If you happen to have a white handkerchief, learn how to tie a cravat, easy. If you have one of these just costume pieces that attaches on, I'm not proud of that's what I'm using, but it looks the part. That works absolutely fine. And we're just adding a pair of long boots, preferably riding boots, or if you have rain boots that look like riding boots, anything like that is gonna work. And I think you can agree that despite the fact it's pretty much the exact same thing as the Hobbit costume, it looks astonishingly different. And for the pants, this khaki color that I'm choosing actually does work because in the time period, in the 1700s, in the colonial period, people would have been wearing buckskin trousers, potentially, leather trousers, and this sort of matches that color. It's obviously not even close to being the same thing functionally, but if we're just talking about getting a look done quickly, that is gonna look just fine. So for the cowboy look, once again, very little is actually changing. The shirt is staying the same, the vest is staying the same. We are adding a pocket watch to the vest just for a little bit of an accent. The pants are gonna change into blue jeans, but you could really go with whatever you wanted. Something like corduroy could be good too. We are adding a pair of different boots this time, but you can kind of use whatever you want. If you don't have cowboy boots, chukkas might be fine, or you can use what I'm using here, which is just an old pair of motorcycle boots. They look the part just fine, so long as there's not zippers or laces or anything. Then go ahead and grab your gun belt. Don't worry, YouTube, this is in fact empty. It's just the holster. Don't get mad at me, YouTube. If you're not the type that wants to have a holster in your gun, then that's fine too, but it really does help add to that little extra bit. And before I put on the jacket, I do look a little bit like a cowboy version of Han Solo, who is a space version of a cowboy, so I guess that makes sense. Go ahead and grab the jacket, throw it right on. I think this gives a very smart look. You kind of want to almost, if you have a jacket that doesn't have lapels, which I am recommending, what you can do is just sort of turn out the side here to make it look like you have lapels, and it looks pretty nice. And then all you need to do is grab a cowboy hat of some sort, because you don't really look like a cowboy without it, and that's it. For those of you who are curious, this is a cowboy hat made entirely out of leather. I did make it myself. There will not be a video on this, but if you would like to see the tutorial for it, which I watched in order to make this hat, there will be a link down in the description as well. I like it. It's a good hat. So the main point of this video was to make the point that costuming doesn't necessarily have to be super expensive, and with just a couple of pieces, you can put together a lot of looks, so long as the pieces that you have are sort of ambiguous enough that they can fit in multiple places. So this is how you can kind of fake a jacket if you can't find something that's gonna work for you and you don't wanna spend like $200 on a jacket like this. This is from Bergschneider. I've checked recently. It's not on their website for whatever reason. I don't know. I hope it's not discontinued. Hopefully it comes back, but just check back with them periodically. It's in their Musketeer section. But this is also Bergschneider, and it doesn't have to be Bergschneider if there's something else that you like, but look for a tunic like this, just a long tunic. Ideally in a fabric weight that is a little bit thicker, because they're generally not going to be lined, but you want something to go as an outer layer. Make sure to get a larger size than you would normally get, because again, you're using it as an outer layer, you want it to fit over the rest of your garb. But get a long tunic like this, and pay attention to where the slit is. Some of them have a slit in the front and the back, some of them have a slit on the side. Having a slit in the front may just make this project a little bit easier. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your long tunic, should go to about your knees, maybe a little bit lower. You're gonna take your long tunic, find that slit in the front, and then cut it. Follow that cut all the way up to the neck. You're gonna wanna close up that edge so that it's not raw right there. And there's a whole bunch of different things you could do with that. You could just fold it over, sew it like that. You could wrap maybe some other accent fabric or a thin strip of leather around the edge of that to close up that seam. And then then the world is your oyster. You can choose to put buttons on it. You can choose to put laces on it. You can choose not to put anything on the front to close it up. And that is essentially going to be a jacket. And it will work in a pinch if you don't have anything else. And do all of those steps and simply take a seam ripper and remove the sleeves, and you have a jerkin too. If you want to see a video on that, let me know. But thank you for joining me today. I hope that was at the very least entertaining, if not informational. I will see you very, very soon. In the meantime, I'd like to wish you good luck on your adventures.